Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to the Elite Ascension Summit for Spiritual Entrepreneurs. My name's Aina Spirit Walker, and this is Caprielle Ricard. And this is an amazing day. We're so excited to start this. Oh my God, this journey with you guys. Okay, so real quick, we're going to tell you who the hosts of the show are, and then we are going to introduce our first speaker. So, my name's Aina Spirit Walker, and I am an internationally known medicine woman and life coach. And I actually guide established leaders so that they can hold more finances, more authority, and more leadership through healing and self mastery. Caprielle, who are you?
I'm Caprielle Rickard. I am a stage architect and I help create powerful stages and platforms for visionaries in the world to lead more aligned. Thank you all for
Very.
being here. Just I've got my tech face on. I'm trying to get all the things happening in the background. So thank you all very much for coming. We appreciate and love you very much. And yeah, excited for what this is going to be.
Yeah, and together we have over 50 years experience transforming lives. So we are excited to bring this to you today. So our first speaker today is Kat Caldwell Myers. She is amazeballs, and Kat's presentation today is horses as a portal to ancestral wealth and future wealth. Kat, welcome, welcome. You're muted, babe, so make sure you unmute yourself, darling.
I know I'm muted, baby.
Sorry, if you're not a speaker, please mute yourself. All right, my darlings, please, Kat, tell us who are you and what you do.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, I think I got muted.
Caprielle did it to me too. Dang it. Sorry, babe. Take two. We're gonna blame Caprielle. I don't know if she's over here for you guys, but she's over here for me. I feel like I'm in the Brady Bunch right now. Kat, who are you? What you do? What do you do, babies?
Yeah, Aina, I'm wondering if you can mute while I talk. Thanks, love. I'm hearing feedback. Anyone else hear me twice? Okay, that's better. Oh, maybe that's better. Yeah, I'm sorry I was on for sound check, but here we are. Let me know what you guys want me to do. Keep talking or
Kat, you've got two profiles on, darling, which is why the feedback.
hmm.
So that's why I was trying to mute one for you.
Okay. If I accidentally bounce out, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Hmm. How about now? All right, I hear me once. Yes. Oh, how awesome to start with two of me because one of me was not enough. Anyway, I'm so excited to be here. I believe I'm presenting for what looks like 25 minutes now because we had a little, mumbo jumbo at the beginning. If you're new here, I want to welcome you. The Elite Ascension Summit had me at hello. I don't know why, except that I know Aina, and she is a spirit walker like you have never seen or worked with before, and the incredible Caprielle, and all of you beautiful people coming in together today. If you don't know, or if you're watching the recording, today is February 16th, 2026. I see some people nodding, and my book literally just fell off the shelf because this day is so powerful in the portal. Okay, we have three major things going on. Three major things going on. A lot of people are nodding because I'm in a group of spiritual entrepreneurs. You already know this. I'm going to talk about those three things. I'm going to ground us. Again, my name is Kat Caldwell Myers. My talk today is about horses as a portal to ancestral wealth and future wealth. So we're going to get into this a little bit. I am going to be reading a letter written by one of my ancestors from the year 1913 about horses to help tap you into that. So that's coming at the end. You're going to want to stay for that. I'm also going to start us with pulling a spirit card and talk a little bit more about these three things as we drop in. So these, one of my favorite teachers, and I'm doing this spiritual horse work on the shoulders of giants. And I don't just mean giant horses, I mean giant spiritual horse workers. Both of these gals have been on my podcast. Linda Kohanov has written over 20 books, including The Tao of Equus. If you don't know who she is, you want to check her out. But this is The Way of the Horse. It's a book that also comes with cards. We're going to pull a card today. So given that we have these three huge things going on, it's the Chinese Lunar New Year. That's one of them. It's the new moon in Aquarius. That's another one. And just because two wasn't enough and we work in threes, we also have this solar eclipse energy. So I just want you to close your eyes with me for a second and make a triangle in front of you. I have my two pointer fingers and my thumbs together. And I want you to breathe into this portal through your nose and then exhale through this triangle with a big blow. Fire breath, like you would pull out the candle. Because horses are energy workers. So as we prepare to meet the fire horse and our ancestors in horse work, and you can keep breathing in this way, I'm going to invite in our ancestors, all that we can see and cannot see, connecting us not only in the physical plane, the historical plane, the future plane, but most importantly, the spiritual plane that transcends all time and space. Because that is the space where we meet horses. And now I want you in your own inner world to see your fire horse coming in. I want you to feel your own skin of this last year, and it might be many years, because as spiritual entrepreneurs, we know that time is but a snap. And we collapse it when we do this inner work. So I want you to see your horse who is calling you up over the summit into the fire, and the old snaky skin and identity of you. In fact, I want you to brush your shoulders like this and prepare for the final shed. If you want, you can go all the way down your body, but that snake energy, that old skin of this last year, it is time to release it, to drop it. It helped you find your truth. It helped you see what was not really you. But the fire horse is fast. And it's time to prepare yourself to step into this portal. Now I want you to rub your hands together. Hopefully you're not still doing fire horse breathing, because you might be feeling a little lightheaded. Please take care of yourself. You are always your own authority. Open your eyes. Bring your hands apart. Feel that energy that you're stepping into this new portal. This new becoming that you are meeting with this new horse who is here to guide you. Aina was riding a fire horse with a crystal. You got to see her image out there. You have that image in you too. What's your horse look like? And squash the snake. Your horse is going to step on it. That is so last year. So I want you to take a pen. If you have paper, if you don't have a pen, I'm a huge fan of voice notes. You're on mute. It's okay. You can pull up your phone. You can record what you just saw for yourself. Who's this fire horse? And what are you shedding? What's that old skin that no longer serves you, because like Taylor Swift has many eras, so do we, and so does all of humanity. And part of what's so powerful about ancestral work with horses is that we go back. We've been working together 5,000, 6,000 years, way back. So I'm going to take you into that, because the work we do today, you're going to vision cast way forward into future relatives you don't even know are going to exist, future people you're going to impact who are going to see the work you do in this year that is so fast, but doesn't happen if we don't slow down and finish the shed. So some people don't know it was actually the wood snake. I brought a pineapple in to represent the skin of the wood snake. And if you've ever touched a pineapple the wrong way, ew, it can hurt you. It's got some pokiness, right? The same is true with fire. The same is true with horses. One of my daughters, she's a pretty incredible spiritual worker coming into her own. She's been having dreams about rattlesnakes. I grew up with rattlesnakes in New Mexico, but she doesn't have rattlesnakes here in Idaho, but she's afraid of them, of the bite, of the warning, of the shake. What are you still shaking off that's no longer serving you? Think about a pineapple. Think about wood. Wood can burn, wood can build. We can use it, but when it's in the ground, it's still alive, right? I want you to fully shed that so you can arrive with me today. We're going to pull a card to take us through this portal. Ooh, I'm not surprised as we are stepping into Aquarius. By the way, this artist who partnered with Linda Kohanov has also been on my podcast twice. Kim McElroy, she's an incredible spiritual worker, and her artwork is amazing. And she launched her art as the Fire Horse and was also born in the year of the Fire Horse, one of her first ones. I was wondering if we would pull that one. But we're going to talk about this one. You can see it's a couple of horses and they're a wave. These horses are coming out of the wave. Horses, because they're herd animals, they're prey animals, so they like to be together in a herd and work together. You usually see them in groups. One out by themselves, it's not the lone wolf you worry about, it's the lone horse, because the lone horse is going to get pecked off. Now, if you look in that dark spot in the middle of this incredible wave, you actually see another horse's eye. So I'm going to hold this card up while I get into the literature. And this book is pretty hefty, by the way. Couple hundred pages. Each one comes with a small snapshot, which we'll read, and then a deeper essay. We'll use this as kind of a backdrop of what we're going to talk about today. Give me a second while I find it. Oh, so much incredible wisdom in here, my friends. And that's what I thought. We're talking about the eye of the storm. And I'm going to read this to you while I continue to hold the card up here so you can really take a look. I love using these cards when people come to my place to work with horses or we do virtual work, because they really get to the thing beneath the thing, which is what horse work is. It's not how we present, it's the energy behind it, beneath it. The thing you're maybe not saying might be where your real medicine is, by the way. It's the eye of the storm. You got to go right through it, baby. Okay, I digress. Shall we hear what this wisdom is? I think so. Here are your 3 snapshots for this card. Emotional collection. This is huge. When we're working with the energy of a horse, if our emotions are all over the place, they're like, you're crying. Should I be afraid? Or the more common one, you're afraid. Should I be afraid? Horses are all about safety. So when we started working with them 5,000, 6,000 years ago, there were no fences. We had no bridles. We had no halters. We had no saddles. We had only the trust, the conversation, meeting each other literally in the field with no strings attached. Now, if you, as a predator, because you have your eyes in the front, are going to go through the eye of the storm to try to hang out with some herd animals, they better feel safe. Now, how could we make them feel safe? Using that emotional collection. We could first of all take care of our own emotions. You running at them, they're going to run away. I have this conversation with my children daily. Anyway, But if you come to them calmly, the other day the pony got away from my kids. They were messing around in the pasture, and I said, calm your energy, because they were running, oh, pony loose, mud splattering. Calm your energy. Emotional collection is huge. You're safe. I'm safe. We co-regulate together. The second one plays right into the first. Don't you love how all this work is so connected? Finding your center. If you're not grounded, a horse is not going to feel safe next to you. So that work we did of really coming into our breath and arriving here, it's really, really important work. Maybe the most important thing you do every day. And then developing the witness, because that eye of the storm connected to these horses that are coming through it, they are witnessing each other. And herd animals are always witnessing each other. They spook together. They show up together. So guess what? Way back 5,000-6,000 years ago when we started working with horses, once you won the trust of one, you might win the trust of many. Maybe by feeding them, maybe by caring for them, maybe by making sure their babies weren't killed by the wolves. Protection. And then they allowed us upon their backs. What a miracle! Really? Okay. Description again of this card. Waves rear like horses as the storm surges forward, but the eye in the center looks calmly toward the shore. Again, the horse worker, you got to learn to be the eye in the middle. You'll have your moments, like when you're midair falling off, but then you got to come right back to center. Calm, like I was telling my kids, calm your energy and they'll come to you. The gift. When you learn to use emotion as information, you no longer panic in response to strong feelings. Isn't this one good? And the challenge. The tendency to suppress uncomfortable emotions leads to whirlwinds of uncontrollable expression later. Rather than float above the storm, people disassociate a lot in our world, or they just don't want to look. They don't want to know, right? Rather than doing that, ignoring it altogether, leap into the center, the eye of the storm, and discover its origins. The sky is clear in the eye of the hurricane. So this year, I am launching my Horse Adventure Coach certification program. It's 3 parts. And the first part is really standing outside of the herd. There's a panel, and you're trying to read their energy and understand, who are horses? How do they talk to each other? What are they saying? What's going on from over here? That's level 1. Level 2, you step into the arena or into the pasture with them. Co-regulate, working the whole herd. We call that at liberty when you're not touching them. You're just working with the magical energy together. And then level 3, you achieve mastery when you become the arena. Like you become the storm. I am the storm. This is like the ultimate fire horse mastery, right? There are so many who have come before me, who have taught me, who I have trained with. One of them was crowned by the Queen of England for his teaching. We go way, way back, you guys. This work, every single one of us 100 years ago was connected to horses. Our ancestors were, without a doubt, to get anywhere, to do anything, but we're so disconnected with AI, which I think is awesome. I love the fun, my new podcast, Horse Adventure Coach, the Year of the Horse Adventure Coach, has this really cool icon with one of my horses on fire. My daughter's like, why is Tiki on fire? Don't worry, it's a photo. AI can do amazing things, but what's real? If you're not actually getting into the arena, if you're not actually stepping up and seeing each other, more importantly, being with each other, riding with each other, energetically embodying space. This is the next frontier, my friends. If you're a coach, people are dying for retreats right now, and they're very hungry for how to partner with horses, how to partner with fire. Fire's pretty cool. I have some right here. Just like horses, it is hot. It can go very wrong. But we need it. Just a little heat. Just like we need the understanding of horses. Their magnetic field is 5 times greater than ours. Did you know that we have so many sayings connected to horses that we're losing now? Like, never look a gift horse in the mouth. Since that one just came through, I'm going to tell you what that one means, especially in the age of braces. I don't know about horse braces, but it could be a thing. Anyway, when you look a gift horse in the mouth, you can tell by their teeth how old they are. So the simplest one you learn first is something called the 7-year hook. So horses have kind of their teeth in the front, and then they have a big gap before you get the molars in the back. But in that gap, there's a little thing kind of like our wisdom teeth called the 7-year hook. And guess when it grows in? Yeah, it's 7. So if it's just starting to pop in, they're probably 7. And if it looks really pronounced and is fully curled, they could be 20 or 30. So when you get a gift horse who looks real pretty on the outside and you made them all shiny, but on the inside, they're not so much. I have horses that I've paid $1 for. I have horses that I've paid thousands of dollars for. So when people see horses, they immediately see money. They see wealth. And what they are missing is the illusion that we are separate. It's not separate. It's your projection when you see that. And one of my favorite things when people come to me and they're like, "Oh, you have horses, I want horses." I'm like, awesome. Your desire for horses, that is an unclaimed desire in you. And since you have shared it with me, if you would like and I have your permission, I would love to take you on the adventure of finding your horse. It's the same if you see somebody else with a boat. Horses might not be your thing, or they've got the $7 million business. It's proof of concept that it is for you. But it all started on the field where you stepped up to it and you were like, I want that. I want to work with that. I want to partner with you. You are part of my destiny. So now, as promised, because we're in the finale, 6 minutes. By the way, the fastest 2 minutes in sports, Kentucky Derby, right? We're not at the final race here, but I did promise I'm going to read this letter from one of my ancestors. But as I read it, I want you to think about your own ancestors. Way back. This letter is from 1913, but maybe one of yours, like, who is the last person in your family? And you may have a through line like I do. My grandmother taught me about horses, right? My mom was not into horses, by the way. She traded her pony for a guinea pig with her sister. But anyway, my family, my sister and I, super horse crazy. It was always there. It was always in us. And all of our ancestors who got to this place was in them too, right? Proof of concept that we all got here. And it was not that long ago that we were working with horses every single day. So let's talk about our ancestors, and then we'll wrap it up with the future. Thank golly for tea. I love a good tea. This was also written on a Monday, by the way, in very, very fancy font, which took me a moment to read a few times. And the envelope stamped 1913. How cool is that? Look, you didn't even need zip codes back then, y'all. How amazing. So this is my great granny who was born in 1900, which means at the time she wrote this letter, she was 13. Dear old sport. Yesterday I had the best time. I got more joy out of life and living than I ever did before. I do believe. And you know, I am not one to mope away all my days in dejected mourning. In the morning, Tolson Clark and I went riding. Tolson is a wonderful rider, so as good as any teacher. We had 3 wonderful horses, 2 big black beauties, and a little weathered Mustang, all strictly saddle horses. Because remember, at this time, a lot of people were driving horses. You know, I never rode, but have always wanted to, more than anything in the world. Well, we had a glorious ride. Those horses buck and kick. They are perfect. I was crazy underlined, by the way, about it. So crazy that I couldn't think of anything else all day. and couldn't rest without going again. So Tolson and I got Chief and Daisy and rode from 7 to 8, just as it was getting dark, along wonderful, lovely dirt roads. And what a ride! Exclamation point, exclamation point. We got the horses into a marvelous gallop and just tore through space. Oh, Marion, what it is to live, as Tennyson says, as though to breathe were life. You don't remember Lord Tennyson? Might not be a lord. Anyways, Ulysses, the Iliad, the Odyssey, has a beautiful poem. I then went and looked it up. As though to breathe were life. So we stop at breath work, but it's so much more. It's actually moving through space. And that is what the fire horse is going to teach us this year. It's about the movement, stepping into it. So I have a final gift for you guys. I promised I would give you one. I also have some stuff I want to drop. I thought I would have time for it, but we started a little bit late. I will drop it into our chats along with a photo of that letter if you want to try reading my great granny's cursive, which is pretty awesome. But I have a two-part gift for you guys. One is a gift from last year. It was how Aina Spirit Walker and I met. It's the Speak Truth to Live Summit. Because so much of the work that we learned last year in the year of the snake is what our truth is. And if we weren't speaking it, we probably weren't embodying it, and we're probably not ready to release what is not our truth. So the Speak Truth to Live Summit, similar to this summit, is 21 speakers. And I'm going to drop the VIP link, or I sent it to you via email. If you can pop it in there for me, that would be great. It's a
I don't
27.
have any emails, babe. I can tell you
Oh,
that if you, the audience, if you are here on the free section and you're watching this streaming in the community, there's a free gift from Kat directly in the learning tab. Those are the gifts you're referencing, Kat?
yes, I thought I was supposed to come up with a low ticket offer for right now.
Okay, and then for the VIPs, we have another free gift. So if you are in the VIP group, you have two free gifts from Kat. Okay, and that's also in the learning tab. And Kat, if you have an offer that you would like to also give to everyone, you're welcome to drop that in the chat if you like. We do need to move forward. Also, I want to encourage you guys to please, any questions that you have for Kat, please type them in the chat now. Kat, when she's done telling us about what else you guys can do to work with her, then she's going to be back in an hour, 5:30 Eastern time, for the question and answer for the VIP group. So if you're not in VIP yet, there's tons of ways that tons of things that you get for VIP. It's in the chat in Zoom. It says upgrade to VIP here. It's only $49. You get an extra 30 days access. You get, as I said, other free gifts from the speakers themselves, lots of extra trainings and more lives, and you get a free question and answer with all the speakers from each specific day. So Kat, how can everybody else work with you? What do you have to offer them today? And you're welcome to drop it in the chat, babe.
I'll drop it in the chat. It's theadventureparadox.com/speaktruth. And for 27 bucks, you get a call with me. My usual rate is $250 an hour. So that's a great way to hang out and continue the conversation. If you want to hear more about the Horse Adventure Coach certification and how you can ride into space in this new year, I would love to meet with you. Thanks.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Kat. Yes, please drop that in the chat for us. And Kat will be back in an hour for the question and answer portion. Also, I want to let you guys know that Kat is going to be going live in the VIP community. This is only for VIPs on Monday, March 6th at 4 p.m. Eastern. So that's an additional training with Kat if you have the VIP upgrade. So now we are looking for a Mr. Jay Fairbrother, and Jay is going to be talking about how to create more planetary human connection, one mastermind at a time. Jay, welcome, my lovely. Who are you? What do you do? Nice to see you.
Hi, Aina. How are you?
Hey, Jay.
I'm happy to be here. Excited to be here. And yeah, we want to talk about some human connection.
Nice.
All right, take it away.
Take it away, baby. Well, let's
All right.
tell everybody who you are and what you do.
So I'm
Excuse me.
Jay Fairbrother, the mastermind guy, and I help healers, coaches, speakers, and thought leaders to create intimate, exclusive mastermind programs so that they can scale their businesses, so that they can work more intimately with people and attract and keep clients for 3 years, not 3 months. And so I'm going to talk today about the mastermind type model and how we can create more transformation and more human connection. All right, here we go. Okay. I assume I can, I don't need to share. I can do it this way. All right. I want to start with this guy. And I want to ask if anyone listening recognizes this guy. Anybody look familiar? It kind of looks like Zac Efron, but it's not. It's actually not someone you would know. But this is the guy. If you are a solopreneur, a thought leader, a healer, and you have some low-end intro program that's $47 or $97, this is the guy who buys it, watches the first couple of modules, and disappears, ghosts you, and you never see again. This is the guy, if you have a course, a 4 or 8 week signature course, this is the guy who buys your course and shows up for half the sessions off camera, doesn't do the work, and doesn't get the results. And then even worse, any healers here listening? Maybe just a few. This is the guy who actually does show up and drains the energy right out of your room. Now, do we recognize Couch Guy? Anybody had Couch Guy in your programs before? So this is one of the problems in the industry when we're offering low ticket programs, courses, group coaching programs, is we don't get the clients who show up and do the work and get the results and get the transformation. So this Couch Guy is the problem with group coaching and courses. So I want to talk about the difference between improvement and transformation. Because for most of us, we want to change lives. We're not in this business to, amass a big fortune. We're here to help people transform their lives. But there's a big difference between improvement and transformation. And I want to give you a couple examples. If I was a health and wellness coach, I might say, take my 6-week course and I'll help you lose 10 to 15 pounds. But if you work with me for 6 or 12 months in my mastermind program, I'm going to help you stop being the fat guy forever. See the difference? If I'm a speaker coach and you join my 8-week group coaching program, I might say, I'm going to help you have less stage fright and feel more confident on stage. But if you join my 12-month mastermind, I'm going to enable you to embody your presence as a world-class speaker. That's transformation. And let's say I deal with people with trauma and I offer a 3-month group coaching program. I might say, I'm going to help you sleep better and have fewer triggers around your trauma. But if you join my 12-month mastermind program, I'm going to help you turn your trauma from a wound to a catalyst. Does that make sense? See the difference between improvement and transformation? And don't we really want just to provide transformation? We want to help people become a better version of themselves, not just make little improvements. So the problem with the model that we're sort of encouraged and taught in this industry is to start offering short-term programs, low-ticket programs, mid-ticket programs, programs that are 6 to 8 weeks, 3 months. And that's difficult to create transformation in that short time period. And the other problem is that in these types of programs, courses and group coaching, we get couch guys that join our program, meaning the program is accessible to anyone who can write the check, instead of creating curated invite-only programs where we only work with the clients that we love and the clients who will show up and do the work. So here's how we get stuck in this transactional model and in this transactional mindset is because when we start out, we need more of everything. We need more traffic. We need more leads. Mostly we need more clients, right? And it puts us in this transactional mindset and it creates a churn, right? You get, you have a nice launch and you get a bunch of clients, and then 8 weeks later, well, now I've got no clients and I got to start over and to launch again, right? So this model that the industry teaches is based on transactions, not transformation. And the model looks like this. I'll enlarge this a little bit so you can see the fish. So the model, this is the industry ascension ladder model that all healers, coaches basically work from, right? And the idea is we need hundreds, if not thousands of fish coming into the top of this funnel and have them trickle through it to eventually offer them a high ticket transformational program. And you see that one little lonely purple fish up there at the top? That's actually the person who will invest in themselves and invest in you to get that real transformation. But often they never make it to the bottom of this funnel because you lose them after some one-on-one coaching or after a course when they didn't show up and they didn't do the work. So the model itself is built on a transactional mindset and a transactional framework. And I don't think that's the right way to go about things. When you look at the most successful healers, coaches, thought leaders on the planet, the majority of them at some point create a high ticket mastermind as their high ticket offers. And here's the thing. I would say 75% of what in our industry of thought leaders is labeled a mastermind is really just glorified group coaching. Meaning people show up, pray to the altar of the guru, there's some Q&A, maybe a hot seat for good measure, but we're going to slap a mastermind label on it because that's sexier and we can charge more money. So let's look at what a mastermind really is. This word salad, these are the words that most people think about when they hear the term mastermind. It's accountability, peer support, mentorship, group coaching, etc. Napoleon Hill coined the term mastermind like 90 years ago in Think and Grow Rich. And his concept was very simple. Put one person with a brain in a room, second person with a brain, and it creates this third invisible, intangible force that he labeled the mastermind. Imagine putting 8 to 14 brains in the same room, the size of the invisible, intangible force that's created. When you tap into the collective experience, collective knowledge, collective wisdom of those 8 to 14 people. Now that's Napoleon Hill's original concept for a mastermind, that small cohort, intimate style mastermind. There are ways to grow masterminds larger than 14 people. I call them hybrids. And the reason I say 8 is because beneath 8, and it's hard to get that enough of that invisible, intangible force that every person gets value in every meeting. Again, not that you can't have one that's fewer people. And 14, I put that limit there because one of the key principles in a mastermind is that in every single meeting, every person should have a voice and participate. Not like a group coaching program where you get the couch guys lurking in the background you never hear from. So to me, a mastermind is really more about the words in this word salad. It's community, commonality, confidentiality, comfort, intimacy, and most importantly, connection, human connection. Now, why is that important? Well, in this information overloaded, digitally disconnected world that we live in, and AI is making it worse, the thing people are starving for is human connection. In 2020, the World Health Organization created an entire commission to address the global crisis of social isolation and loneliness. Every single day we sit here, the value of content and training and information is going down. but the value of human connection is exponentially increasing. And I know a little bit about this subject. You could say growing up, I was kind of the poster child for disconnection. It started when I was 10 years old. My father died suddenly of a heart attack. And like most 10-year-old kids would react, I withdrew, I disconnected, I got angry at the world, kind of became that lone wolf. Now, maybe that lone wolfiness is what led me ultimately to become an entrepreneur. I started my first company at age 30. And I was pretty successful, pretty quickly grew that company to $1 million in revenue. But I got stuck there. I couldn't seem to figure out how to get beyond that $1 million range. And I hired coaches and consultants and read all the business books. And I couldn't figure out how to scale. And that's when I joined my very first mastermind. That was 25 years ago. And I remember to this day walking out of that first meeting and saying to myself, oh my God, I found my tribe. Like after one meeting, I knew like these people were me. They got me. They understood my challenges and fears and frustrations. So that mastermind, we joined it simply to grow our businesses and become better entrepreneurs. But what happened, I was not expecting. Because within 5 or 6 months in these meetings, I'm starting to watch grown men break down and cry as they open up and talk about their shitty marriages and their kid problems and the anxiety and depression that running a business is creating. This is not what we signed up for. But for me as an adult, this was my first real experience with this level of human connection, this kind of vulnerability. And so I was all in. I started joining every mastermind I could over the next several years, facilitating, eventually creating my own. And guess what happened? That first business took off, and I grew it to a couple hundred employees and $10 million in annual revenue. And I was fortunate enough to sell it in 2004. And life was good. You sell a business that big, life gets pretty good pretty quickly. Over the next few years, I traveled extensively. I bought 3 other businesses. I invested in a lot of different things. And then anyone had a time in your life when things are going along swimmingly and something out of your control happens? We've been there. So in 2008, what's now referred to as the Great Recession, the world financial crisis began. And by 2012, I lost everything. I, in that time period, quite literally went from being a multimillionaire living in a mansion overlooking one of the rivers of Pittsburgh to living in my friend's basement, broke, bankrupt, divorced, alone, humiliated, and frankly, ashamed. Because I didn't blame the world financial crisis on my situation. I blame myself and the decisions that I made that led me into sitting in that basement without even owning a car. I wish my story included me bouncing right back and starting my next company and getting back in the game, but that didn't happen for me. I lived in the basement literally for 5 months, but figuratively more like 5 years, dealing with that imposter syndrome, that shame. I had spent 15 years building this identity. The only way people knew me was this really successful serial entrepreneur. And there I was in that basement. I didn't even want to be seen. I quit almost everything I was involved with at the time. I quit networking groups. I quit friendships. I quit some of the masterminds that I was in. But I stayed in one. That very first mastermind that I had joined, I stayed in that during this whole time period. And frankly, I don't think I'd be sitting here today if it weren't to the support of the people in that group, because they supported me financially, emotionally, spiritually. I don't think I would have made it through. So that's my story and why I'm passionate about masterminds and why I'm passionate about helping people like you to create these kind of programs that can have that kind of human connection and that kind of support from a tribe of people who will have each other's backs and go to the mat. But I want to share some of the reasons I think it's a great model for all of you as healers or coaches to adopt and look into this model. So The first reason is that there's less reliance on content and training and information, right? If I run a course or a group coaching program, at the end of it, my content's over and people leave. And then I got to run another program, right? And with the advent of AI, I mean, right now, as of today, AI can train you on anything you want to learn in the world for free in minutes, right? I saw people are using AI to learn how to rob banks. And we're just in the beginning of this revolution, right? So every day we sit here, the perceived value of training information going down, perceived value of human connection goes up. The other reason I love the mastermind model is that you don't need thousands of fish. Remember the fish in the top of the funnel? You don't need the huge email list, and you don't need one of those big fancy sales funnels you might have seen, like the ones with the 34 branches that make your head spin. You can do it old school. Talk to people, build relationships, get referrals, build that intimate, exclusive, curated tribe of people that you want to work with. And the next reason I love the model is that it creates recurring revenue and what I call stickiness. Because when you offer a high ticket program that might be, $5,000, $10,000 per year, 80% of those people are going to pay you monthly. Create stability of income and revenue instead of being in the roller coaster of doing launches. And stickiness is this idea of attracting and keeping clients for 3 years, not 3 months. Because when you start your mastermind and enroll people, sure, they sign up for a 6-month, preferably 12-month period. But unlike a course or group coaching program, it doesn't end at that time. That's just renewal time, right? And when you create the container properly, when you build that psychological safety and people build relationships with each other, at the end of that 6 or 12 months, they don't want to leave because they now are getting so much value from everyone in the room, not just you as the healer, guru, or coach. Stickiness, that first mastermind I told you about, I stayed in that mastermind for 17 years because every month I got value from being in that invisible, intangible magic force that Napoleon Hill envisioned. But my favorite reason that I think the mastermind model is the best model to pursue is because you get to work with the people you're most passionate to help, not the couch guys, right? Not the people who don't show up and don't put in the work and make the effort. You narrow the choice of people you want to work with, disqualify the ones that you don't want to work with or aren't as good at helping. And that's the program you create. You create the program for those people. So here's my question at this point. If you're with me so far and you're like, okay, sounds interesting. If you set an intention today, how easy would it be for you to find 9 people who know, love, and trust you? Not know, like, and trust, that's table stakes. 9 people who know, love, and trust you, who share similar challenges and fears, and share the same passion to achieve an aspirational outcome that you can help with. Would those 9 people want a safe, trusted, confidential space to discuss their most challenging personal issues or business? Would they want a community where everyone shared mutual respect and were equally motivated by the group successes to their own, meaning you don't want to let narcissists in your mastermind? And would they want an intimate group of like-minded peers to collaborate with and get support from? Who does? I want that. That's the container that will create transformation. When you create that kind of psychological safety and that kind of group support and relationships, that's what does it. 9 people who pay you $1,000 a month, that's a 6-figure program right there. You just added 6 figures to your healing or coaching business with 9 people. Now there's other ways to slice and dice that. It doesn't have to be $1,000 a month and 9 people, but it's hard to get to with this model where you're dependent on these hundreds or thousands of fish coming into the top and trickling all the way down through the thing. I flip it upside down. My fewer, better, longer mastermind model is about talking to people right away. Get them excited about your mastermind, which isn't for everyone, and it's exclusive and curated and invite only. And then all you really need is one good downsell. A downsell could be any one of these things. It could be one-on-one package. It could be a signature course, group coaching, laser coaching. There's lots of options. And if you already have some of these things, great. You've already got one or two downsells built in. So I'm running out of time, so I'm gonna skip that. I was gonna tell about Debbie White, who created a mid-six-figure business with nothing but a $14,000 mastermind. I want to touch on a couple more points before I wrap up. One is, what mastermind do you create? Because there are people like me out there that teach the mastermind model, and they teach a cookie cutter approach. They teach one way to run a mastermind. And I don't believe in that. I think the key is tapping. It's like putting pieces of a puzzle together to tap into your unique superpowers and create a program that delivers the most results for your clients. And where do you find those people? Well, it's a long road finding them through this kind of a funnel. If you focus on finding the right people, you need fewer people to make more money and more impact. You attract those better quality clients that show up and do the work, and you keep them longer because you create that human connection and create a container they don't want to leave. So if you're intrigued by anything that I've talked about so far, and I apologize for talking so fast, but I'm trying to get through as much info as possible, I'd love to invite you to come play with us next week at my 3-day virtual boot camp, Six-Figure Masterminds boot camp. You've got a link to this, and you'll see lots of testimonials if you click on the link and go to the page where this goes to. I'm humbled every time I see this testimonial from Mark Platten, who, without exaggeration, has spent over $100,000 in trainings and events and programs in the last 5 years, he and his wife together, and says this is the best training he's ever encountered. So it's next week. It's February 24th through 26th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern. This is all day. This is not, sit and lurk and listen and sit in the background. This is a workshop style event where you're going to walk out. I think we have a workbook that's 20 pages, and it will be full of notes. And my special offer for all of you at this summit is your ticket is free. Here's why I do that. Because you might think, Jay, why would you give away a program for free that somebody says is worth $100,000? Well, I am interested in educating people about the power of this model and giving people an opportunity to create a program around human connection, around relationships, and most importantly, around transformation. It drives me crazy when I see healers and coaches out there struggling because they're trying to sell a $1,000 course or a $1,500 coaching package. Speaking of which, if you have a $1,500 coaching package, you need 67 clients to reach six figures. I'd rather see you do it with 8, 10, or 12. If you sign up today while we're on this event, I'll also send you my custom GPT, Mastermind Clariness Readiness Advisor. This is a great thing to play with before you come to my event next week, to get some understanding of how this can fit into your model.
Hey, can I'm going to ask you a question, babe. That is the free offer that is in the free community, correct? I'm looking at it. Free virtual ticket, six-figure mastermind, interactive 3-day virtual event.
Correct.
Okay, so for those of you who are in the free portion of the community, that is it's in the learning tab. Okay, and you'll see a fabulous picture of Jay with a white ribbon at the top. That is what Jay is talking about right now. If you're in VIP, that is also in there, and there's an additional free gift as well. And Jay, I just dropped an offer that we were going to talk about. It's a VIP ticket upgrade to the Six-Figure Masterminds Bootcamp for $70. That is in the chats, you guys. Jay, do you have a minute to tell us about that?
I absolutely do. Yes. So the VIP ticket includes a pre-event workshop that's Friday, this coming Friday. It's a 90-minute workshop where I will go further into the different types of masterminds that there are, because there's 5 or 6 different types. I'm going to talk about intellectual capital, social capital, relationship capital. I'm going to talk about the difference between task-oriented programs and process-oriented programs. Go a lot deeper into the model itself so that when you come to the event next week, you have a much better preparation for it. And then we also do a post-event where VIPs will get an opportunity to pitch me on the mastermind concept that they developed during the event. There's an exercise we do during the event where you create your pitch to be able to walk out and start talking to people about it immediately. And you'll get the opportunity to come pitch me and get validation, feedback, or coaching around what you created during the event. So that is the VIP ticket that offer that's available to you right now. So sorry for that confusion, Aina.
That's
So-
okay, babe. That's okay. I appreciate that. I just, sorry, let's, go ahead, babe. Wrap it up, darling. Sorry.
All right, let me wrap it up.
Wrap it.
Nancy Jutton is a client of mine. She's been in this business 25 years. I helped her start her first mastermind 3 years ago. Most of the members that are in that mastermind are still with her 3 years later. And she just launched her second mastermind at a higher price point called the Ruby Slipper Collective. And she easily filled that with, I think it took her about 2 months to fill that. But here's the bottom line. If you're interested in creating a program that provides community, collaboration, comfort, intimacy, and human connection, then I just really come to the event next week. I know it, might be a little hard to clear your calendar, but it will be worth your while. If you do upgrade to that VIP ticket and you are not satisfied for any reason, I will happily refund that money, no questions asked, because you will be satisfied with the event, no matter where you are in your business. If you're just starting out or you're already at 6 or 7 figures, I've had both come to this event and both walk out saying, oh my God, I got so much value. I promise it'll be a transformational experience for you. It's not just me talking at you for 3 days. We do a lot of workshops, and you'll meet some great people and have fun. You'll laugh, you might cry, but you'll walk out with a lot of value and transformation. So thank you, Aina. I know my time is up.
You're amazing, babe. Right on the knob. Look at you. Gold star, babe. Gold star. So for those of you, firstly, if you have any questions for Jay, please drop them in the chats. And also, if you have any questions for Kat and Tyler, who's coming up shortly, please drop them in the chats. Let's see, Jay, hold on, I'm checking my notes. Jay will be live in the VIP community Thursday, March 12th at 1 p.m. Eastern. I want to correct myself. Kat will be live Monday, March 16th, not the 6th. I do apologize for that, at 4 p.m. Eastern. And also, all of the speakers that we have today are going to be jumping in a half hour, 5:30 Eastern time, for those VIPs who are here live. To answer questions directly with you. Of course, you get a ton of extra stuff too. The upgrade's $49. It's in the chats. Yeah. Okay, Jay, thank you so much. We'll see you in a half hour, babe. We love you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Thank you,
All right,
darling.
thanks.
All right, my babes. Okay, up next we have the beautiful Tyler. And Tyler is here to talk to us about how to own the upgrade. And then we are talking about the upgrade from your pet. Tyler, welcome, my darling. It's so great to have you here.
Yes, likewise. Thank you so much for having me.
Woohoo! All right, my darling, who are you and what do you do?
Oh, that is a great question, and it's the $1,000,000 question. My name is Tyler Gines, and I am an animal communicator. I'm a metaphysical. I don't want to call myself a guru because I don't need to be anybody's guru, but I'm really obsessed with the metaphysical aspect of healing, especially when it comes to our pets. And what I'm coming to realize is our pets have a lot more for us than we actually realize and understand and know. And the more and more I dive into talking to them, because that's exactly what I do, is I talk to people or talk to animals. I guess they are people in fur form and 4-legged.
Truth, truth. Oh my gosh. Okay, so tell us about hit it, babe. Tell us about how we own the upgrade.
Beautiful. I am so excited to be here with each and every one of you. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. But before we get started, I would love to know, either drop in the chat or raise your hand if you're on camera, if you've ever looked at your pet and thought, you definitely know something that I don't. Because I definitely am like, okay, you know way too much about your life. Then I'm like, okay, I do believe that your pet is a mirror and your fastest path to your next level. I'm not just making that shit up. I promise it is completely accurate. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to use that mirror that happens to be walking on 4 legs that you live with, sometimes 3 legs, if you are lucky with a pet that has survived some crazy things. But I'll show you how to upgrade your life on the inside and the outside, all without having to hustle your soul or pretending you don't love nice things. How does that sound, everyone? Because I love nice shit and I love pets. So my name is Tyler Gines. I'm founder and CEO of Bougie and Beyond. And you know, it's so interesting as I continue to dive into more and more because I'm obsessed with learning. I'm working with a seer in Australia. I'm really honing in my medical mediumship skills to actually bring the medical mediumship to the actual pet world. Really thinking about how we redefine how we care for our pets in the day-to-day life. And the question that I want to ask is if your pet could reveal the one pattern that's keeping you stuck in an endless loop, would you want to know that? Now, if awakening didn't have to be painful, if it could be guided, supported, even fun, would you say yes to that? Because I know I would. Now, if you could normalize abundance and spiritual depth at the same time, would you play that game? Because so much of life, we're taught this about money and this about money and this about money. And it's like, okay, well, how do I be spiritual and money, hold money in abundance at the same time? So many of my clients are at their wits' end and they're like, what in the world is going on? And they've tried literally everything. They've taken their pets to the vet. They've tried supplements. They've tried the self-help workshops. They've tried energy work. They've tried coaching certifications. They've tried everything. I was there once. I totally know. 16 coaching certifications later, multiple energy modalities, shamanism, and now working with a seer. What I have discovered through all of that is it is an energetic component. And our animals, like us, store all of our shit as the humans inside their little nervous systems. And it ends up creating disease, illness, lethargy. It creates those reactive things. And what I've discovered through all of that, it's super powerful to spiritually awaken through the animal-human bond. I believe our pets are healers. They reflect our inner world so much. Also, we can evolve. I also believe that woo isn't crazy. It's actually our natural state, and it does belong in every single day. I believe in blending the practical with the mystical. Hello, 16 coaching certifications, NLP trainer, somatic coach, NLP master practitioner over here, as well as Reiki, Huna, shaman, seer. I love all of it. And this is where science, structure, and spirit actually really play so well together. And I also believe that abundance is a frequency, like me, to actually allow our nervous systems to train to be held and hold more at a time. Again, I want to say thank you so incredibly much for bringing your time, energy, and hearts here because I know it took logistics and I see that. So thank you so much for being here. I also want to thank Aina and Capriel for putting this incredible summit together. I'm so excited. I saw the theme, Spiritual Elite Ascension Summit. I said, my magic's gotta be there. They all need to hear from me. And so here I am, and I'm so excited to be here with you. I'm so incredibly grateful to be traveling the world, learning and supporting others on their journey, but also working hand in hand with our fur babies and helping you understand. But it hasn't always been like it is now. I came out gay, almost died in a car accident, and had my soul dog hit and killed by a car while I was out of town. This left me feeling completely depressed, unsafe, sad, and hurt. And honestly, losing a pet is one of the most intense things you could ever go through. And I'm sorry, but if you don't know how to grieve before you lose a pet, they sure teach you a lesson in grief. I don't know if any of you have experienced that, but they sure do. This led me to over 500 hours of deep training and those 16 coaching certifications that I've mentioned. And it's also allowed me to create the Bougie and Beyond framework, which is all about the self-discovery, recognizing the death and rebirth cycle, focusing my energy to even those small little soul nudges, and then awakening. And it's all been guided by my beloved pets and fur babies. And they've all shown me in not so gentle ways and gentle ways, depending on how much I want to listen to them in the moment. I've been able to reset my nervous system to hold luxury and love, and I began normalizing synchronicities of the both and life, where Gucci meets guru, because everybody should have the abundance and be like, I've got the money, I'm gonna go buy a Gucci bag. Like, who cares, right? This is where you deserve to have that. I was able to release materialism as a mask, grounded into spirituality, and I left the double life mindset, which was one of the hardest, but also one of the most rewarding things. I love and I'm obsessed with learning and the cycles of life. I think there is so much goodness and juiciness that we can all learn, and it is so incredible when we have that opportunity. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to start thinking, well, how do I stop splitting my life over there and trying to heal over there while succeeding over there? And stop splitting our lives and really integrate it so your passion and your money can actually all rise together. And really, that's the big challenge. But doing it through the eyes of your pet is way more fun. I promise you. So I want to jump into self-discovery. Self-discovery starts with that hold up, something's not right moment. You're shedding an old skin, you're outgrowing a life, your animals often trigger that realization. Have you ever looked at your pet and you're like, why are you peeing on the carpet? Well, if you actually take a second and step back, you're actually like, oh my gosh, that was because of a huge reaction that I got as a kid. And now I'm literally repeating it with this little creature that relies so much on me. I'm so sorry. And then the guilt sets in. But your animals are often triggering that. Now, what self-discovery really is it's really about learning what blocks are holding you back. That's the time, money, relationships, safety, authenticity. Where are you saying you value something, but your actions are misaligned? Your animals truly show you exactly where all of your blocks are. How many of you have had to go to an emergency vet and spend thousands of dollars and you're like, you little shit? Because I have. And all I figured out was it was because it was around my own lack and scarcity mindset around money. I said, thank you so much for showing me that. And all right, here we go. Where do you hide because you don't feel safe or accepted? Pets are the flashlight in your life. As I love to say over here, perception is projection, which is all from Carl Jung's teaching. It's the way you read your pet's behavior often reflects something deeper inside of you. Now, I would love to throw just a teeny little rock with a lot of love, of course. Lots of people think they know what unconditional love is. And I'm here to tell you, honey, absolutely not. Until you've been loved by an animal, you don't fully get it. I'm sorry, you really, truly don't. Like your parents can say, I love you unconditionally, but you have to get straight A's. No, no. And this is what's so important about self-discovery is it shows you the gap between the love you thought you had and the love you're capable of when you actually begin to heal. Now, here's the catch-22 though. We can get stuck in these healing cycles, release after release after release and after release. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I have no idea who the hell I actually am. And so that's what's so important about self-discovery. It's not navel gazing or blaming yourself. And it's not fixing your pet while ignoring yourself. Because guess what? This isn't a one-time Disney epiphany where you're dressed by bluebirds and are magically on your way to a dance. But what self-discovery actually is it's seeing yourself clearly through your animal's mirror. owning those parts and those patterns of yourself and recognizing deeper issues. How many of you have abandonment issues or have had them in the past? I have. And guess what? My animals showed me exactly what those were. And then in that moment, it's deciding I can heal this. I am powerful enough to do this. Now, I mentioned one of my dogs who was hit and killed by a car while I was out of town. And I rescued these two. They came from a vision board manifestation. I'm obsessed with Frenchies because they're not of this world, but I say I'm not either. I thought I was getting cute chaos, and then I would get irrationally upset over chewed shoes or an accident. And I remember there was one day I walked into the house to let them out to go to the bathroom while I was at work, and I walked in the door, and there was Scentsy wax all over my floor. My garbage can had been knocked over, and there was a pile of poop in my kitchen. And I got so upset. And I was like, what in the world? Well, I found out Paris escaped the kennel. Oops. And then I had this big reaction. And in that moment, I realized, oh my gosh, a small mistake in my household growing up got these big ass reactions. And here I was repeating it with my dogs. And in that moment, I was able to choose and soften. I broke the cycle. I chose patience and unconditional love because honestly, there's nothing worse than seeing your dog with fear in their eyes, like, I have no idea. And what it was reflecting was my inner child saying, this hurt is still here. But as I changed, their rebellion completely stopped. Our pets have this really fascinating way of digging up our buried stuff, also we can heal, which is exactly why I have created 5 guided reflections for you with the loving, not so loving, sassy your pet of all of these time, money, relationships, safety, and authenticity, where they're gentle, targeted aha pieces on paper. So your pets can co-coach you to really start to discover these deeper parts of yourself. Now, I am working with a client right now, and he's been coughing. They've taken him to the vet multiple times, and it's pill after pill. And one of the things that came through was he felt suffocated. And so I asked his pet or his parents, I'm like, are you guys feeling suffocated? And they're like, oh my gosh, yes, we have since we moved to this state. As soon as we released suffocated, the dog has stopped coughing. And guess what? They moved into a beautiful brand new home because they began to own the upgrade. Your pet is your mirror. You get to clean your side of the glass. And guess what? The reflection changes. You're not there to blame, and you are there to really claim your power and begin to use it as growth. Animals choose us. When are you going to start to choose yourself? When are you going to embrace that and you get to upgrade both your life and your pet's life because you deserve it? Once you start seeing yourself clearly, those hidden blocks around time, money, safety, relationships, authenticity, you can't unsee them. And that is the beauty and the challenge of self-discovery, because once that mirror's been cleaned, you start to realize it's not just one pattern. It's a whole process unfolding. And every time you break an old cycle, something inside of you dies. I'm not talking literal death. Now, sometimes it is that painful lesson where you do have to learn that through that. But guess what? Without death, we can't be reborn. So when something inside of you dies, something new is born. And every time you choose patience over reaction or authenticity over fear, you're actually moving through a deeper spiritual evolution. That's why I say awakening isn't a one-time event. It's absolutely not. You are constantly on an awakening path. It is a total process, and your animals walk beside you through every single stage. So now let's zoom out from that first mirror moment and look at the 5 stages that I call the bougie and beyond process to awakening, so you can upgrade your life, your career, your business, every aspect that you want to, because the whole journey gets a hell of a lot lighter, a lot clearer, and a lot more magical. So the process to awakening Awakening isn't only for monks. Wow, isn't that amazing? Now, I want to throw a cute little rock, and I want to throw it at the one where the hustle spirituality, where people say no pain, no gain, but make it spiritual. This is such an outdated philosophy method because guess what? You do not have to go through pain. And odds are you don't want to have to go through pain in order to actually awaken because it sucks. Honestly, it is the worst thing I think I've ever gone through to have my dog hit and killed by a car because I was too blind to pay attention to the universe when it was trying to nudge me gently. Now, the other one that I want to completely dismantle is the ones that say, renounce all things to be truly awakened. No, because guess what? Growth can be guided, supported, and dare I even say fun. Everybody needs to learn how to have a hell of a lot more fun in their lives because being an adult is not fun. And somewhere along the lines, we're like, throw fun out the window and be serious all the time. Awakening is not only for monks, like I said, because honestly, you can awaken to your true self. Awakening isn't about suffering or sacrifice, but it's about remembering who you actually are beneath the roles, the fears, and the programming. And that's why we've created the 5-stage journey that anyone can move through with no ashram needed. And I will walk you through each and every stage from that first moment of self-discovery all the way to full integration. So the 5 stages, I've kind of mentioned it. We've got the self-discovery, discovering who in the world you are as a leader, as a teacher. Then you move into the death and rebirth. Then you shift into focus your energy. Where are you focusing your energy when you're in this phase of, okay, I have no idea who I am because I've gone through this death and rebirth cycle. I'm a brand new baby. I have no idea who I am. Now you're going to try and focus on the past, and then you're going to stay stuck in the past. But when you focus your energy, then you move into soul nudges, those little nudges from the universe. Hi, go here, do that, do this, do that, which then takes you into awakening, which is all about the integration. Awakening is not perfection or floating. I read a book that said perfection is the lowest standard you can have for yourself because it does not exist. How many perfectionists do I have on the line? Because I know I was one. And then I read that quote and I said, oh shit, okay, I'm not perfect. And I don't want to strive for perfection anymore because I'm not a low standard person. No. This awakening is not a club and it's not linear or endless suffering, but it is remembering who you are and integrating your mind, body, and soul so you live on purpose with higher vibration. So I've mentioned Stella passing, and this shattered me. I thought my life was fine before that. This is that self-discovery phase. And then I move into the death and rebirth. And in the death, I had to put my second one down. It was brutal because it was 14 months later. And I was like, I have to go through this shit all over again. Are you kidding me? But she told me purple. That's how she wanted me to know she was ready to go. And this is all about connection to source. That's your crown chakra. And this really allowed me to have a sacred send-off. But it opened up a deeper layer of grief. And I was like, you've got to be shitting me. And then you move into focus your energy. And this is where I started to 100% like go, dare I say, off the deep end, and not really the deep end. I was like, yeah, Reiki, chakras, vision boards, manifesting, all of the things. But I was able to redefine source's love all because of the self-discovery and the death and rebirth from my 2 dogs, which then put me into my soul nudges, where there was one day I was at the gym or told my fiance, let's go back to the gym. We need to start getting our health back in check. And in front of me, my first day back, there is a reality TV star working out in front of me. And right then and there, I had this whole vision of my business where I was like, I'm going to go work with celebrities. And guess what? I've worked with Netflix stars because of that moment. All because I followed the soul nudges after I went through the self-discovery, the death and rebirth, and then focused my energy. Followed my little soul nudges. And then I found myself into integration, creating this life where I am actually working with celebrities, not just to say I am, but actually having provided value to them so they can move through the grief and step into their awakened state. And this is exactly why in the Spark, you have 5 short trainings, 1 per stage, to know exactly where you are. When you are on this journey of owning your own upgrade and your power, you might be like, where am I? What in the world's next? This is all morning coffee length, where you get to have practical and pet guided guidance in knowing where you are. Now, how fun does that sound? Because I know it's making it a lot easier to understand how to own myself and my upgrade. So many people say I'm not spiritual enough, but guess what? If you love, you are spiritual. Throw that belief out the window, because guess what? You get to do it at your own pace, your own way. Spirituality is not a one shoe fits all. You could be at the dog park with your dog at sunrise, and that can be your spiritual growth. So don't say you're not spiritual enough. Which takes us into the integration piece. You can actually be spiritual and love luxury. What? How in the world does that happen? Because so many people are like, you can't love nice things and be spiritual. I hate that, because it's like, actually, luxury is spiritual. It raises your vibration because money is a high frequency tool. And all of a sudden, if you're thinking, I'm not spiritual enough because I love Louis Vuitton, or I love Gucci, or I love Prada, that is a false dichotomy, and you get to throw it out the window today. Because guess what? We're done with that. Somewhere along the lines, like I said, you were told you can't love Louis Vuitton and love God. And that is the biggest lie we've ever been sold. And we are done buying it. Let your pets help you overcome your lack and scarcity that's going on inside your mind when you rush to the vet at 3 a.m., which you're all free from, to find out that they're just having a sad moment and there's nothing actually wrong. So this section about integration is where your meditation practice meets your manifestation mindset and your Gucci vibes meet your God frequency. When you normalize harmony, you teach your nervous system that it's safe to have both luxury and love, both success and spirit. I freaking have 2 French bulldogs now. I spent way too much money on them, and they are the highest vibe frequency animals I've ever seen in my life. And this is how you own the upgrade from the inside out, is allowing both success and spirit to be a part of your normal day. There is no shame about desires, but what it is to actually help you find the gratitude and the expansion, where you normalize luxury and mysticism, where you get to talk to your business partner about meditation and be like, yo, I had this cool vision while I was meditating. And then your shaman friend is like, hey, let's talk about the Tesla stocks. Did it drop today, or are you making lots and lots of money? That is what is so cool about integrating the two. Bougie is luxury, comfort, beauty, and nervous system capacity, all to hold it. And beyond is the mystical, energetic frequency, talking to animals like I do. And I have had way too much fun doing this. Now, this is the integration. You own the upgrade, which is outer wealth and inner wealth. This is the polarity teaching you wholeness. It's not about egoic materialism or bypassing retail therapy. This isn't saying go buy a Bentley because you're sad today. No, don't be reckless and think you have a superior complex. But what it actually is harmony, using your desires to elevate your vibration, letting prayer ground your health and success, where everything is energy, because that's where you get to make luxury a gratitude ritual. Abundance is a frequency. Now, I remember when I was in Wisconsin for a wedding, and they just so happened to have the were snowstorm, 60-mile winds, and I said, great. I hate driving in the snow. I had a Range Rover as a rental car. And I remember telling my neighbor at the time, I'm not putting a new car on my vision board. Whoops, that was a lie. And in that moment, I was driving this Range Rover, and I've never felt more safe in a car than I did in that moment. And so this raised my vibration, this raised my frequency because I felt in alignment with it. I felt that this is exactly what I needed to feel safe to call in more of what I wanted. And this is where I stopped compartmentalizing professional Tyler versus spiritual Tyler, where I was able to draw in the correct clients and of course create bougie and beyond because everybody deserves to be bougie and live in the beyond. And animals are the most modeled integration that we can watch and see, where they can literally live and lay on a velvet bed, kind of jealous, and some be meditation with zero guilt. Now, in the Spark, you have 5 guided meditations where you get to go in and you get to do self-discovery. And then you get to go through the rebirth. Then you get to focus your energy, and then those soul nudges, and then the integration. They're energetic workouts, so your nervous system says it's safe to have both. This isn't shallow and it's not about money. Money is neutral. Your heart wills it. Nature models abundance. If you've ever struggled with a lack and scarcity mindset, go out and look at all of the green on the trees and on the grass. I'm in Utah. Everything's a little dead right now, so I can't really do that. But I do have a green vision board right in my corner right there. And that is what's so important is remember, luxury isn't the enemy of spirituality. Separation is. So by now, you can see that awakening isn't a single moment. It's a living process. You move through self-discovery, death and rebirth, focus your energy, following those soul nudges from spirit, and finally landing in integration. And that's where most people stop, right before the magic really starts, because they think integration means go back to a normal life. But here at Bougie and Beyond, integration means bringing all the awakened you into everything. Your relationships, your home, your money, your wardrobe, your pets. This is where we blend the mystical with the material, where meditation meets manifestation, and where luxury and your light codes get to coexist. And this is where Bougie and Beyond allows you to allow the velvet meet the vibration, because we are all about integration here. Now, I see that Aina has put in the Tyler Talks, but also the free gift. We're going to do the Spark. And I kind of talked about it. And this is a Bougie and Beyond system for integrating the 3D luxury with the 5D consciousness. 5 recordings, 5 activities, and 5 meditations for the 5 steps. This is for my spiritual seekers and pet parents who want to see the real root under repeating challenges through the pet mirror, so your patterns can finally shift. Again, this is not about blame and shame. It allows you to move through a guided awakening of the self-discovery, the death and rebirth, focus your energy, the soul nudges, and into awakening in a much gentler way than getting kicked in the ass by the universe that says you're not paying attention. This allows you to have hand-holding and practical prompts where you get to integrate luxury and spirituality, where you get to normalize abundance as a frequency your nervous system can hold. This allows you to uncover all of your blocks with your beloved pet. The time, the money, relationships, safety, authenticity. Then you get the step-by-step why and what of the 5 stages, where you're at, so you know exactly what's next. So you're not blindsided, because we all hate being blindsided by the universe's nice little curveballs. Then you get to go through those 5 meditations to anchor each stage in your nervous system. So abundance and awakening becomes your new norm. The value of this is total of $497, but today, because you're hanging out with me and listening to my crazy, it's $0. So I'm gifting you the Spark so you can experience Bougie and Beyond and not just hear about it. As a bonus, you get a mini pet guided signs and soul nudges worksheet. This is where you get to go in and you get to really uncover, oh shit, that's a nice pattern I got to overcome. So you'll get the Spark of the 5 recordings, the 5 activities, and the 5 meditations mapped to each of the 5 stages. Valued $497, but yours today for $0. When you feel the results, you know this path is for you. Now, if you think I'm not spiritual enough, spiritual isn't a costume. It's your breath and your bond with your pet.
Well said, Tyler. Thank you so much, my love. So for all of
Yes.
you who are curious about the Spark, that is a free gift that's in your community, whether you're in VIP or the free. It is in the learning section with the white ribbon and Tyler's face. It says the Spark right on it. Jump in there, grab it. Tyler, you also have an offer before we jump into the Q&A with the rest of the speakers. Do you want to talk about Tyler Talks really briefly?
I would
And
love
it's in the
to.
chat. Yeah.
Yes. So Tyler Talks is a private 60-minute session where I connect to your pet. They can be living or they can be on the other side because I don't discriminate. I talk to all of them. And this allows you to have 60 minutes of communication with your pet. You get to ask questions. You get to hear what your pet likes, doesn't like, what they want more of, and what they want less of. If you have terrible singing, they may expose you and say, "Stop singing in the shower. I can hear you." I'm just kidding. They don't do that. But they do tell us what we don't necessarily want to hear. It's what we need to hear. And in Tyler Talks, you get 60 minutes to have a deeper bond with your pet. And you get to hear a lot of things that you're like, I really wish I would have known that sooner. What treats they really like. Or maybe we need to go on 5-minute longer walks so I can get more tired. And that's what Tyler Talks is because it's time for your pet to have a voice and share what they need to share.
Sweet. Okay, Tyler, thank you so much. We appreciate you so much. And I'm looking forward to seeing what questions everybody has for you. So, and Caprielle's back. Yay! Caprielle has been diving into tech issues. So, this shit happens, guys. I mean, like, you do this like 3 times, it's going to happen eventually. So we've been doing it more than 3 times and it just fucking happened today. So that's just where we are. Okay. So we are going. And thank
It's
you,
the Lunar
Gabrielle.
New
We love
Year.
you.
Mercury's in pre-shadows of retrograde. It's just eclipse tomorrow too.
Thank
Perfect
God
sense.
there's 2 of us. Yes, that's all we can say. I mean, we are here.
All of those
Uh,
things, Tyler, all of them.
all of them. So we are going to dive into, because the people who are here on Zoom with us are VIPs, so they're welcome to ask questions. And we're going to ask Jay, and let me tell everybody when Tyler is going to be VIP live. Your additional talk, my darling, is Wednesday, March 11th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. That is in the VIP community. That is an additional free live teaching from Tyler if you have upgraded to VIP, and you can still jump in now. Okay, I see Jay, I see Tyler.
So
Hopefully
we'll
Kat
just
can
say
jump on.
goodbye to the free community now.
Oh,
So
bye,
that
free
we can
community. We can't see you, but we love you. Okay.
and
They're
done.
gone. We can talk about them now. No, I'm just kidding.